This video is proudly sponsored by DigimonCard.io for all your Digimon card, deck building, deck list, card pricing, and discussion needs. Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and today we've got an exciting announcement. It is the announcement for the ban list for BT7 and BT8, essentially for the English versions. They're dropping it now early, and it's probably to kind of reflect what's going to be happening in Japan as well. It's really interesting too, because Japan kind of has like a different meta and everything from us, but they've pretty much shown us early what cards are being hit and what's going to happen. So that's kind of neat. And so we're just going to talk about that today. So I've already seen these cards, so I'm gonna have a little bit more info, but hopefully it's a surprise for you guys. Hope you guys get something from it. But so pretty much how this is going to work is that there are going to be some cards hit in February, the end of February, when we have these BT7 pre-releases. And then after that, we'll have some extra cards kind of hit on the BT8 pre-release, so in April 2022, assuming there's no more delays. So if there's more delays, it's just going to be delayed until BT8 has its own pre-release. But we do have one card that is banned. Last minute guesses before we switch to it, but here it is. It is Mega Digimon Fusion is banned as soon as BT7 comes out. I think there are a lot of decks that can kind of abuse this. I know obviously in Lilith Loop, this is a key card for it. So I think that is something, I think it's about time for that. Unfortunately, Lilith Loop is like one of my favorite decks to play, and I think it is very fun. But obviously it's not fun for your opponent when you're just looping through your turns and you're taking like 15 minutes. So I don't know. It's okay for see this to go. I understand why it's getting hit. But it is it is an end of an era for me for Lilith Loop. I do think there are other cards for it, like win rate 60%, that more or less does the same thing. It's a little bit more flexible, especially going from level 5 to level 6. So I don't think the deck is dead, and I think there's ways to still kind of play around the archetype. But obviously, this card being hit is not great for where we're great for the deck. But I think you can live with it. So that is the card that is banned, and I think it's there we go. That's the start of it. We do also have some restricted cards. So going on to this next one, last guesses, but it is Ice Wall. I think a lot of people could see this one coming. This has been a big complaint in the Japanese meta for a long time. This is just such a good option card, being able to gain 2 memory. I was thinking that either this would get either a ban, a limit, or an errata, where right now, and it still works this way, the active main of all your opponent's Digimon gain when attacking lose 2 memory until the end of your next turn means that it includes Digimon that aren't even in play yet. It just literally means anytime your opponent swings with a battle card, or sorry, a Digimon this next turn, they lose 2 memory, which just stinks. And then also having a good security effect, like normally an effect like this means that it would have kind of like one of those no security effects, but being able to do this, and it only costs 1 memory, like it's technically 1 memory that you're getting 2 memory back at least the next turn. It's such a good card. If you're in Japan, you've been playing BT7 already, you already know it. So you're gonna have 4 copies of this for like the Digimon Nationals, and that's about it. And real quick, I should have mentioned this earlier. These bans are not active for the Digimon Nationals. This is for BT7 meta, and the Digimon North American Nationals, I believe, is going to be the EX1 meta, so you can run 4 in your Gobblebonds for that tournament, and then take 3 of them out after that. But not too surprised. I know this has been a menace for a while, and there we go. Next card is Reinforcing Memory Boost. I'd say another very obnoxious card. I still can't believe they printed this card. This is just such an obnoxiously good card for what it is. Being able to gain a security for 6 and then get there's like no negative things for this. Even though this is a 6 cost, it's technically a 3 cost. And honestly, just getting 3 memory for free to extend your plays is just better. Like it's fine that this is a 6 cost because it does so much. And you get a draw card, and you get to recover 1. And you get to know what you're recovering. I think it is one of the most broken cards for, I would say, an archetype that people don't particularly like. I think security control is fine, and I like that the archetype exists, but it can be definitely very obnoxious to play against. So being able to only run 1 reinforcing memory boost, I think will kick it back to a more reasonable level. But it is, I don't know, this this is such a silly card. Sometimes you just play this and you feel like you win on the spot, especially if you hit the Zwart defeat off it and you're just like, oh, this is such a good spot for me. And so I think tailing it back to just one means that people are going to be running it, but it's not going to be kind of crazy good like it has been. And I think that's a good mix for it. So those are all of the BT7 hits for this. So once again, after this, we do have some BT8 hits. These are some very early calls. And potentially we'll see some more fixes before BT8. I doubt it, since the last, like, we literally had the last balance change announced in like March of last year. So we've gone a whole year without any changes on cards being balanced or anything. So maybe we'll see what it comes to, but these are the next cards that are going to be affected on BT8. There are no cards that are banned, but there are some limiting. And the first one for the BT8 meta is Savior Huckmon. So this is a really great card for your Jesmon decks. And this just is pretty overtuned for what it does. And I think a lot of people are complaining about that. Being able to play a Sistermon for free on Digivolution is good, which can either mean that you get to get an extra draw, or even better, you can make this Digivolve for 2, which is fantastic. And then also being able to unsuspend your Digimon, unsuspending a Jesmon swing and being able to swing again is very, very good. So having one of this, I think, will tailor it back a little bit. I don't know too much about BT8 specifically for Jesmon. I don't think there's anything that's particularly like a better card for this, but man, running only one of these will definitely kind of help it will hurt this deck specifically. And I really do think this is like one of the better cards for this archetype in a lot of ways. Like, even I would say this is better than Jesmon, which is why Jesmon's getting banned, just because of the amount of swing you can do. Like, you don't even have to go on top of Jesmon for this. The when attacking once per turn, you just have to have the Sistermon in play. So you can just get something else out. You get that unsuspend, and that feels pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if Jesmon can live with only having one Savior Huckmon. I think it probably can, but it's definitely less consistent. It's definitely a big hit for the archetype and for the deck. And then the last card that we're going to talk about today is the Eismon. So this is definitely a very, very obnoxious card. I think a lot of people have seen a lot of this in Japan. This is a BT7 card, so we're going to have one whole card set to play 4 of, and then it's getting banned down to 1. But when you trash this card in your hand using one of your effects, if Eismon Scattermon is in your trash, you may play this card without paying its memory cost, and then for each scatter mode in your trash, this Digimon gains plus 2k DP. And what the scatter mode does, and if you don't know, it's pretty much another level 4, which you can hard cast for 4, and it has an on deletion effect to, I believe, draw 3 and discard 2. So very, very easy for it to just swing in, it dies, and then you have Eismon in hand, you discard them, and you get to play Eismon for free. You can get 2 Eismon for free too if you're able to get lucky enough with it. And it's just such a free recursion, and I think it's a cool idea for what the card is, but I think what happened was it just gained too much aggression, too much advantage for purple, just being able to play these guys for free, and I'm not surprised this guy is getting hit. I know a lot of people were talking about how this was just, like, you could just swing a game just because, once again, your scatter mode hit 2 Eismon in hand, and so now you've got 2 more swings coming in, and your opponent can't deal with it, which is kind of stinky. So I think that makes sense for it. I'm surprised it's getting its whole, one set, from BT7 to BT8 to be played full force. But we'll see if they change anything from that. But I think it is a very solid choice for that. And that is it. Those are the 5 cards that are getting hit once again. So this card and Savior Huckmon are going to be hit right before BT8 comes out. And then we have Reinforcing Memory Boost, Ice Wall, and Mega Digimon Fusion all getting hit right when BT7 comes out. So all of these cards are still fine, legal, 4-ofs if they exist, so not Eismon. But the rest of them, all of them can be used in the national championship here. And so there's a little bit more. It's pretty much talking about what I was saying. And there is they're updating the website for it too. But very interesting. I think it's a good call not to make like a ban list change before the national event. And I think that makes sense too, but we'll see kind of how we get some new BT7. And the biggest thing I like about this is that, and they've kind of done some small things to change it up, but I do like having kind of an alternative meta to what the Japanese meta is. It kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it when you just get you just know exactly what the meta is going to be when the cards come out. So having some of these mix-ups for us come earlier and let, even though there's only like 5 cards being changed, or the ratios being affected by it, I think that's a big enough chance, because a lot of the big, I'd say like tier 1, tier 2 decks are using these cards, and that's why they're getting hit. So being able to have maybe some other decks come in and get some variety, I think is very cool and needed for what we have. So that's really going to be it for me. Let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what cards they missed, what you think should also be banned, limited, eroded, or if you think some of these cards deserve to live in the respective metas. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it. Damn it.